The Winkelhaak road is a 37-kilometer long gravel road which meanders through the Koue Bokkeveld north of Ceres between the many rivers, dams and lakes of this lovely farming area specializing in onions and potatoes. The scenery is richly diverse, with the dominance of the rugged mountainscape being omnipresent. In dry weather, a normal sedan vehicle will cope with the roads, but in the wet stuff you'll be better off in a 4x4. There's one long water crossing which must be crossed when the dams are at 100% full level. This would typically be from July through to November. It's quite safe to do this crossing in a 4x4 with good ground clearance, as the underwater bridge is solid concrete. This road is best driven from south to north, but please note that it's been filmed in the opposite direction. When one gets to the northern exit point, the sliding security gate at the Koue farm might be locked. This is especially prevalent over weekends and holidays. There are a few options to get back onto the tar road. Please study the final frame in this video clip, which details those options. This is not a mountain pass in the true sense of the word, but an interesting, slow and scenically attractive gravel road drive which offers an alternative to the main tarred road via Op die Berg to the southern Cederberg in the Tankwa Karoo. Within 2.5 kilometers after the northern start, you'll arrive at the first major water crossing. Even at 100% full level, this crossing is not nearly as bad as what it looks. It's concrete all the way across, and there's a cable to guide you. Select first gear low range and proceed at a speed of approximately 6 kilometers per hour. Create a standing bow wave in front of the vehicle and make sure that this wave doesn't break. The concrete strip is just wide enough for one vehicle. Once safely over the water crossing, you'll arrive at a fork where you must take the turn to the left. The road then heads off in a southeasterly direction, following the southern bank of the lake. The region north of Ceres is divided into two large plateaus called the Warm and Koue Bokkeveld respectively. The Koue Bokkeveld roughly translates into English as the cold goat shrubland. Geologically, it forms part of the Cape Fold Belt, and the surrounding mountains are on average 1,600 meters high, resulting in a good catchment area for both the Doring River and ultimately the Olifants River. The water quality is exceptionally pure and makes for good farming, with the main crops being onions and potatoes. This region is South Africa's main producer of onions. In 1838, a meteorite crashed into the Koue Bokkeveld and became known as the Koue Bokkeveld meteorite, or more technically, the CM2 meteorite. There's nothing left of it today. The road derives its name from one of the larger farms in the area, known as Winkelhaak. This is an Afrikaans word which translates into set square. The route takes about 25 minutes to drive. There are many sections that traverse close to farm buildings and homes. Please show respect and reduce your speed to the point where you don't create dust on buildings or crops, lest this wonderful drive be closed to the public. This road is virtually unknown and remains one of those roads which fall directly into the category of a road less traveled. It's not recommended to drive this route in a normal car, especially during the wet months. A commercial vehicle with good ground clearance or an SUV with 4x4 is a much better option. The plateau of the Koue Bokkeveld is almost 100% farmland, predominantly apple, pear and vegetable producing land, with some of the oldest farms in the country which are located here. At the center is the hamlet of Op die Berg, which is a 60-year-old village established as a business center for the farmers of the Bokkeveld. There's not much other than a large co-op building and a police station with a few scattered buildings and a small school. Don't be lulled into a false sense of security with the long straight roads, as there are some extremely sharp corners and very narrow bridges. Be aware of encountering slow-moving farm vehicles. The farms up here are huge. There are few people, and in the gentle light of almost sunset, the softly blowing grasslands catch the last light of day to provide a breathtaking landscape. The mountainscape is dominated by Cederberg sandstone, where erosion and dollops of rock litter the landscape that almost looks as though you're on the moon. The cold describes the weather for most of the year, and it might be the middle of summer when we ascend this veld, but farm workers on the road to the left and right are wearing long sleeves, many of them in windbreakers. This is a road for the more adventurous traveler.